Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video we will be taking a look at the game XEG Football Professional Edition. And don't let the name mislead you. You can do college stuff with this game as well. Now, last episode I did the hockey game, and this is from the same developer, Mike Tingle, and it is free. It is on xegstudios.com. You can go there and download. He's got, I think, 4 or 5 different sports on there that you can download and play around with. And this one is obviously the American football version. So if we were to, well, let's start off with the About screen. I'm just going to kind of run through everything, try to keep it relatively short. I just want to highlight this for the community so that people have an idea of, that this is out there. It's actually a pretty solid engine, gives you nice results, and you can build out whatever kind of team you want, and we'll go through all of that stuff. So we're just going to hit the About, and you can see here that he's got not only the general kind of information about the background on how he developed the game or whatever, but also you have all of these added links that describe things about the game and how it works. So that's a very nice and useful touch. Now, I said it's free, and it is, but he kind of funds based on donations. So if you do download the game and enjoy it, wouldn't hurt to donate through PayPal or whatever, and give him a little love for all the work he's done. So having said all that, let's take a look or scroll through the different things here. So you have Team Select, and we'll go through this and I'll show you how that screen works and everything, but you can see there's a fairly detailed description here of the teams and the options you can set for the games and where you want the kickoff to be, so you can tweak the rule set to basically emulate various eras of football, various rule types of football, which is always pretty cool. Then we have timing and timeouts, etc. Run plays. So you have, he kind of goes through everything about, the engine itself, so you can really dive in and understand how the engine works and where it comes up with its probabilities and its results and so on. Does the same thing with the running plays, and the ratings of the audible rating of the quarterback will help you have success on audibles, etc. if you change the play based on what you're seeing from the defense, etc. Then you have the offensive lineman and how that works for both passing and run protection. Special teams, of course, defensive plays, and here's the player and team ratings. Now the ratings are fairly simple. So you have a checkbox for the mobile rating, so he's either mobile or not mobile. Audible ratings are A, B, C, or D. A is the best, and so on down to D. Passing ratings for quarterbacks can be one of the following: 70 or 74 to 100. The passing rating has a direct correlation to completion percentage. So obviously 70 is kind of the floor and 100 is the ceiling. And then their run ratings, and it says it's the same as it is for running backs and wideouts. So you would go down here and see how the run ratings work, and they're pretty much the same. It's 70 to 100. Receiver ratings are in increments of 5, 70 through 100. This plays a big role in yak and some catch, no catch scenarios. So it goes through everything for your offensive skill players, your special teams, your offensive linemen, your defensive players, etc. And so you have your kick and punt returners, your punters, kickers, and kickoff specialists, touchbacks, team ratings, how the game calculates the pass offense rating and the run offense rating and the defensive ratings as well. Then you have penalties and injuries, and how the computer opponent, the AI, runs its own side of the game. How do you save your team stats when the game is over? You can save it to a text file. You have your team creator, which is really nice. As we saw with the hockey game, there's a lot of kind of little nice touches there as far as kind of Chrome type things with the stadium and weather and the uniforms and logos and all kinds of stuff. And I'll show you that too as well. Then you've got your team editor. If you already have a team and you want to tweak it, you can do that. There is a built-in stadium editor, and we'll take a look at that as well. Player trader is just a way to move teams, or move players rather, between teams. You have your player developer, so you can kind of play a career mode where players will develop over time. What's missing? These are things he wants to add to the game. You know, season mode, Canadian rules, college overtime, AAF, XFL rules, more penalties, quick sim, video reviews, player number, height, weight, pre-forward pass options, more defensive options. So this one is really interesting to me, because one thing that no football game that I know of, at least, can do well is old-time football. Like, I'm talking before the AFL. You know, and even before 1950, let's say, when it was Iron Man football, guys played both ways. There wasn't a lot of throwing. There were a lot of turnovers. It was a kind of a ground and pound, tough guy, Iron Man mentality. No game that I know of, at least. And please, if you do know of one, please comment and let me know, because I've been looking for one. But no game can really do that. It's not like baseball, where there are plenty of sims that let you go back to the 19th century and play early baseball. Hockey's kind of the same way. FHM, Franchise Hockey Manager from OOTP, can go back to the NHA days, like the early 1900s, and include like a rover and things, because, you know, the rules have changed so much in hockey and football as well over time, as well as the philosophies and so on. That's how the game was played. Then we have our version history with all the bug fixes and what was added between versions, and then, of course, the special thanks at the bottom. So Program 4 Football was a inspiration, I guess, and, you know, he thanks various people here, including Keith Higdon and the others at Tabletop Sports Delphi Forum, and thanks to the users for choosing to download and play the game. So that's that. Let's go back to the main menu. Here's our team creator, so we'll walk through this real quick. So this is an existing team. This is the Fort Wayne Kings. The game comes with the latest season of his own fictional league, so you have a bunch of teams that you can play with. They're fully kitted out. They have colors, and they don't have logos, but they have helmet graphics here. And, you know, the colors and the city and the team name and their stadium and all that stuff. It's all in here. So you have tabs at the top where you can go. This is obviously team info. And you get the league level, right? So like I said, you can go to college. You can have semi-pro, low pro, high pro. So if you wanted to do something like, I don't know, the XFL, USFL, the current UFL now, you could do probably low pro, because it's not quite NFL quality, but it is a professional league and the play is pretty high level. So you could do that, or you could do semi-pro, or of course college, as I mentioned. You could pick your season length, various lengths of time, or number of games rather, how many penalties the team commits, and then this is where you would set your colors. You can add a head coach and a name. You could do random styles. You have your offensive play style. We have run heavy, slight run, slight pass, pass heavy. You have your defensive base, 3-4-4-3, and then your blitz frequency. And that's interesting. It's Fort Worth Kings, City, Hamburg, Germany. The Volkspark Stadion. That's interesting. But you can load any stadium from this list, and it's a long list, and it does include cities around the world. So you can see there are a lot of cities in here. Covers pretty much everything you would want. But the other tabs, we've got Offense 1, and this will show you, oh, this is the team creator. So it kind of pulled that stuff in randomly, I guess, and you can tweak it. So the team editor looks just like this, except it's all filled out. So I'm going to jump back and we'll go to the team editor. And it's going to look exactly the same. Now I have the USFL loaded in here already. So let's load up the New Jersey Generals. I'm from New Jersey. I went to some of their games as a youngster. So let's take a look. So this is 83. So again, you have everything in here, and you can see it's got Chuck Fairbanks, who was the coach. They're playing in the Meadowlands. It was Giant Stadium, but they just put Meadowlands. maybe for copyright reasons, I don't know. Anyway, the colors are all right. They got the logos and the helmet, and you can then, like I said, here's the weather, and it based on when the schedule is, you can see it's got weather for the summer as well as winter and fall. You can go to offense here, and it'll load the players. Now remember that range of ratings, 70 to 100. For passers, it's 70, and then it jumps to 74. So I'm not sure what would actually happen if you put in a 71, 72, or 73. I don't know if it would break it or not. I haven't tried it. But you can see that Bobby Scott has an 82. He's their best passer. Napple is a 76, and Boyster is a 70. Their all audible ratings are all C's. They have run ratings, their carries. Then you have if they're mobile or not, and none of them are. Notes for mouse over, so it'll tell you if you mouse over them when the game is going on. It'll tell you if he's QB1. Their experience, that's just how many years they've been a pro football player. Then, of course, running backs, you've got Herschel Walker. You can see his carry number is very high. His run rating also pretty dang high. Fumble rating, what type of back. His number of receptions, his reception rating, his kick return rating, his punt return rating, and his position under mouse over. And then, of course, experience as well. Maurice Carthon, one of the best fullbacks of the 80s. He played for the Generals in 83. He's got a decent run rating as well for a fullback. He's a power back. He had 20 catches and so on, right? All the way down the line through the backups. Then you have the receivers. Sam Bowers was the tight end. I remember him pretty well. None of them really had any carries. And then, of course, here's their receiving numbers. Tom McConaughey was their top wide receiver, and he was a possession guy. And then their ratings here, and you can see their mouse over for their actual position. So that's offense 1. Offense 2, as you might suspect, since we didn't see them on offense 1, is your linemen. So you have all your linemen here, and they'll have either neutral, negative, or positive run block ability, and the same for pass block. Again, you'll have their positions and their experience. You can see here, it gives you some notes on the offensive linemen. Then on defense, you get the same kind of thing. They have a pass rush rating, a run defense rating, a blitz rating, and then for the defensive backs, you have kick return and punt ratings, and of course their positions and experience. Similarly there is also a number of tackles, so that's not a rating, that's the number of tackles they had. Linebackers, again, pass and run ratings, blitz rating, and positioning and experience. Very, very straightforward. Special teams, pretty much the same way. You've got Dave Jacobs, who was actually the kicker and the punter for them that year. So that is covered all in here. He's got a punt rating, his short field goal rating, medium field goal, and long field goal ratings. His longest field goal was 51. He had a 9% touchback on kickoffs. Pretty simple, straightforward stuff. And then your starting lineups, this just lists everything, and it'll show you your cumulative totals. You can set your defensive style here. And you can even click this button, and it'll recommend the best players for each of your positions throughout the roster. So if we go back to the main menu, here's the stadium editor. This is very straightforward. Now, there are a ton of stadiums in here. You can load them from teams. And it says you should only do this if you want to add a team stadium to the list of neutral sites available in the game, and you know that it isn't currently in the list, right? But you can also edit existing stadiums, and there's a whole list of them here. And you can see, I scrolled right past it, but you can see we've got 3 in Athens, one's Greece, sorry. 2 in Athens, Georgia, or 1 in Athens, Georgia, 1 in Greece, 1 in Georgia. So obviously you have the Georgia Bulldogs there. Athens, Ohio, Miami of Ohio, their stadiums in here, and then several different Georgia stadiums, or Atlanta stadiums rather. So you can click this, and this is Mercedes-Benz, so that's the current. And then if you wanted to see the other ones, you know, Bobby Dowd, which would be Georgia Tech, and you have Georgia State's stadium as well. And you can have a retractable dome or a simple, always on dome, I guess. And then your weather settings. So if we were to switch to Mercedes-Benz, it's retractable. So dome will read all zeros. It doesn't have to be zeros. The roof can be open. Then you have your average wind speed, and you can apply it to a team. And he tells you where you can find a bunch of weather information to fill this out. So that's kind of nice. All right, team developer. So with this, you would load, let's load the Birmingham Stallions. You load the team, and it's going to let you develop the players. So you put their stats in here, and then it looks at their stats and their previous ratings, and it will adjust their ratings based on their performance. Very, very straightforward. The player trader, again, you just pick two teams or the free agent file, and you can move them between teams and the free agent list. And is there a way to escape this? Back. And then your draft class creator. So you can tell it how many players you want for each position, and it will create fictional players for whatever level of league you want, and how long your season is, and what you want to name it. And you click that button, and it generates a list for you. So we can generate one just to see it. And here you see, you've got some nice ones in here. Kyle Carollo has a 92 pass rating. That's really solid. And it kind of has them ranked. So there's your 20 quarterbacks and their ratings. We have one mobile guy here, Mark Loveland, and if you click on him, you can see his ratings down here, and you can tweak them if you wish. You can re-roll their ratings, re-roll their name. I don't like that name. Let's make him BK Schaff, rather. You can re-roll his ratings as many times as you want, etc. And then you can save it or go back. So that brings us to the main event, playing the game. So if you click this, you would get to select your team. So let's do the Philadelphia Stars. And you can scratch or unscratch players by clicking on them. So if you wanted to have somebody be injured, you could just double click their name and they would be injured. And you can see you have all their info here. Here's their ratings. Coach Jim Mora, run heavy offense. They ran a 4-3 defense, low blitz, wearing the visitor uniforms. And then you can decide who controls either human or CPU for offense, defense. You can load the home team, let's say the Generals. And then you can see that this is a fairly decent matchup. Those were the two, I think, the two best. No, the Generals had a bad record that year, I believe. But they always had a rivalry, those two teams, the Stars and the Generals. So now if we hit Advance, we get to the setup screen for the game. So here's where you can pick your month. So if you wanted to start in April, which is I think when the old USFL season started, I think it ran from April to like late June, and then the championship was like either late June or early July, something like that. Basically like the first half of the baseball season. So you can do that, change it to whatever you want, say day game, night game, and you can see the weather changes. It's 56 and cloudy. At the Meadowlands, you can pick your game type. You can do quick sim or game. If you're in quick sim mode, it sets both teams to be run by the computer, of course. You have your quarter length, overtime, whether you want injuries and penalties on, sound off or on, kickoffs on, where it's from, all that stuff, right? The point, where's the point after taken from, and whether you have 2-point conversions, and whether you want the quarterbacks to be audible, what rules you want to use for overtime, whether it's a postseason game at a neutral site, home team hosts, whatever it is. So if we click Advance, and now when we hit Start, I think it's this one, maybe not. Turn, start game, there it is. So it's playing now. You can see the Stars are out to a 7-0 lead. You can see how quickly the game moves. We are still in the first quarter. Now we're in the second quarter, 14-0. 17-0. The Stars are putting a whooping on my my Generals here, shutting them out. Oh, they scored a touchdown. 24-7 now. Looking like a Philly kind of day here. And you can see it's raining as well. And you can see the wind changes and stuff. There's a lot of nice touches in this game. And then at the end, you get your stats. Chuck Fusina did not have a great game, 9 out of 20. But he did throw for just 95 yards, but he did throw 3 touchdown passes. Kelvin Bryant, 16 carries, 82 yards. It looks like all 3 touchdowns went to Scott Fitzke. And their defense, they had 5 sacks. That's a lot. Glenn Howard, 10 tackles. There's Sam Mills, if you remember Sam Mills. Yeah. And we look at the offense for the Generals. Bobby Scott didn't have a bad day. 19 out of 30, 212, and 2 touchdowns. They held Herschel to just 59 yards and 14 carries, and he fumbled. Scott, 7 for 21. Carthen, 5 for 16. Herschel led the team in catches, 5 for 53 and a touchdown. As they kind of shut down Bowers and McConaughey. They only had 2 catches each. But you can see the ratings, right? The pass offense slightly favors the Generals. The run offense is even. Where the Stars really shine is defense. Their pass is slightly better, but their run defense is excellent. And that's how the game ends. So I'm sorry I didn't make the window for this bigger, but you can come in here and you'll get the whole thing with the rundown of everything. So you got your scoring summary here with your team stats, injuries, and then the actual play-by-play. So you can actually go through and see everything that happened in the game. At the bottom, there is a button to save it. I'm always trying to guess because the window changes sizes and it's small, and I don't want you to see a whole bunch of like empty desktop. So I tried to fit it in, and I didn't use the game screen. I used the some of the menu screens. Some of the windows are different sizes, not by a lot, except for the main menu. That window is very small. So then you can save your player stats as a CSV. You can save your game stats as well. So if you wanted your box score and your game summary and your injuries and everything, you can even enter some notes up here, and it'll all save into that text file. So we'll hit return, and we'll go to the main menu, and it's going to say end this game. Yes. Now if we did one and we changed the team, so let's do Michigan, who won the championship that year, and we'll pick the home team and we'll give them Oakland. Why not? Oakland was a decent team. So now if you go to advance and we get here, we can change this to regular game, and I'll play a little bit of it so you can see what that looks like, and then we'll just kind of move on. Advance. Okay. So down at the bottom, again, is the start game button. So I'll hit that. And now let me put this down a little bit more so we can actually see the scoreboard here. So I think I actually have this set for both. Yeah, both teams are run by the CPU. So we'll run the 2 offenses. Why not? Right, so now we can say resume. Right, so we get a choice. We'll do a normal kick. So we're kicking it off. Elmer James runs it out to the 24. All right. Now we can pick, you can change your player, and then we can say we want to run. And who do we want to run the ball? Let's run Whittington inside. Why not? Run it. Oh, he lost a yard on the carry. 2nd and 11. So now let's do pass. And you can pick what kind of pass. So let's do a quick slant and go. And he throws to Raymond Chester, who of course was a Raider. Finds a seam. Uh-oh. Yeah. 30-yard gain. Not bad for a tight end. a tight end who was a little long in the tooth at this point in his career as well. He was one of the big names that went to the USFL from the NFL. So now let's do a running play again, and let's try an outside run. And he gains 3 yards. And now we'll go for another run, and this time we'll do a toss, and we'll run Lewis Jackson. And 3rd and 4. Now we could do a draw play maybe. No, there is no draw play. All right. Go back and say, I changed my mind. I want to pass. So let's do a screen pass. Why not? Oh, well, that didn't work. The ball is on the 41. It's 4th and 4. We're probably out of field goal range. So I'm going to click Special Teams, and we are going to punt. So you need to have a 1% chance of making that field goal. So we're going to punt. Anthony Carter. All right, we'll just do a normal punt. Although I should have tried to punt it out of bounds. It's probably going to go in the end zone for a touchback. Oh, hit the 4. If it had died there, we could have touchdowned it. All right, Bobby Hebert, the quarterback for Michigan. Let's come out throwing, and let's throw a mid-slant. Why not? Go with the defaults. Caught at the 29. Uh-oh. Broke free. Wow, 55-yard gain. Woo, that is nice. This time we'll run it. Ken Lacey. Let's go outside. No, no gain. Let's do another run. I like to run the ball. This time we'll go inside. Uh-oh, penalty. False start. Well, that stinks. All right. This time we're going to throw, and we'll do let's do a curl. Sack. Nope. Oh, Hebert picked off. That is terrible. All right. So you can see Kenny Daniel with the pick there. And then again, if you hover over it, it tells you his ratings. And at the very far right, you see left cornerback and rookie. And if we go over Hebert, you can see he's QB1 rookie. So you get all of there's a lot of rookies in this league. So I'm not going to run this out too long. We're approaching a half hour, so I think I'm going to wrap it up. You get the general idea of how the game plays, hopefully. There are some seasons, such as this one. I downloaded it off the XEGstudios.com website. If you click on the football game, you can download the game and any of the available seasons. You can also create your own teams and seasons. I've created some teams myself. It's not that hard. And yeah, it's free, but if you could donate or you wish to donate, that's of course something that is welcomed by the developer. Now, I don't know the developer. I found this online when I was looking for various games, and you know, he makes good stuff. So that will do it. Let me head back out to the main menu here, but that's going to do it for this video. So I hope you found it useful. At least useful. You know, a look at a game that's probably somewhat overlooked. You know, it's a good you know, small footprint game that you can get some reasonable results out of, and it's wide open, and you can create however many seasons you want. It's not fancy. It's a text game, so it does have kind of a tabletop feel, even though you don't see any dice rolling or anything like that. So that's it for this one. As always, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to post them, and I will do my best to get back to you. But yeah, otherwise, please like, share, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And that will do it. I'm Joe. This is the sports edition of the Hexton Counter channel. And until next time, as always, happy gaming.